everybody. Welcome to Wisdom Wednesday. This is Racquel and I'm very glad to be here with you. Hello, Priya. Thank you for everyone who's joining me live today, or those of you who will tune in later at some point and receive whatever this transmission is going to hold for us. I was prompted today to talk about something that's pretty difficult, and I kept checking in. I have to do this backwards because it's the opposite, so maybe I should stop messing with it. What I've been asked to talk about with all you dear souls is something that's existing and growing more difficult in our world, and especially in our country. And I believe that we all need to take a look at it, and more than a look at it, we need to find a way to empower ourselves, to initiate goodness in ourselves and activate goodness in ourselves, whatever that might look like. What I'm prompted to talk about has the title of, "What are we doing to our men?" What are we doing to our men? I'm not just talking to the ladies. I'm talking to all of us. When we witness mass shootings, I'm coming to you after a tragic shooting by an 18-year-old of 19 elementary school children in Texas, and a couple of teachers, and others are in the hospital. These are tragedies that comes on the heels of another 18-year-old young man who shot up a bunch of people in a grocery store a week ago. Adding on to that, the tremendous amount of killings and gun violence that's going on in our inner cities and our suburbs, and things we don't really hear about because they've become so routine, and we have become a little bit numb as our only defense against the helplessness and kind of hopelessness that we feel about it all. After all, we live in a country that even after decades of tragic shootings on every level of our society, we still have not found the gumption to come up against the gun lobby and enact anything meaningful for gun control. There were 1 million orders for new guns so far this year. And the very governor of Texas, where this latest shooting happened, a few years ago, posted online a tweet that's still up there, encouraging all his voters, his public, to go out and buy as many guns as they can. You know probably as much about the politics of this as I do. And in my prayers, in my deepest meditations, I have been asking Spirit to find a way to cross the divide between my feelings of isolation from anything to do about any of this. I can vote, I can write letters, I can do all the same things that many of us have been doing for a long time. I can march, hold signs up. It's all good, but it hasn't shifted anything. And in my prayers, I ask, how do I meet this shadow? How do I come into alignment as female with whatever it is that our world is doing to our young men? How do I open my heart and empower my heart enough to activate a knowingness about this? So I ask you, please, if you're a parent of a boy, if you're a parent of any children that are in school, if you're a wife, a partner, a sister, brother, please join me in this exploration as it is coming to me. I don't have the answers, but I feel something wanting to speak. I feel something wanting to shift in our collective consciousness. It's very strong. It's very immediate. Because what's happening to the masculine in our world is showing up in bloodshed and wars all over the planet. And especially in the gun violence in our country. The anger and rage, the non-directional, scatological panic almost that our young men feel, so disenfranchised, so without hope, without family, without future. What are we doing to these beautiful children? So if you will drop in with me and open your minds, please. There's no one answer. There's no size that fits all here. We can have the greatest gun laws in the world and still come up against this problem. It just may not show up in the gun violence, but it will show up some other way. So take some breaths. Please drop in with me. Open your heart, open your mind. Let your body relax. Breathe deep, have an exhale. Let go of your feelings, of your own feelings of disenfranchisement, of hopelessness, cynical, anger, fear that makes us want to hide and put a wall around ourselves and live in silos where we can feel a little bit safe. And we should know that the safety of our silos is they're quickly getting compromised, little by little. There are no safe places, or not very many of them. The town in Texas was a very, very small town America, little elementary school. People ride their bikes to school, they feel safe, but they're not. We can't hide from this. So as you're breathing, let us see what needs to open in us rather than what needs to close in us. What needs to open? And how do we open it? And then how do we keep it open? How do we turn from our very self-centered and self-oriented way of being to open out into a world that absolutely needs us, but needs us to be whole, needs us to be activated and having an empowered heart. Not to be afraid, hiding from all the things that we don't understand and feel we have no agency over. Take some deep breaths and feel this light energy coming in through this transmission. Feel it flowing through you and pushing against the resistance that you may have. Pushing against the density of the fear that you may be holding about events in our country, in our communities. Open your body, open to receive a message from Spirit. Open to receive a new type of knowing that nothing will change until we collectively, especially those that are listening to this, for you have been doing your work, you've been walking a path, you have learned the value of releasing that which doesn't serve you. All good and all built up to this moment, when we are being asked to activate, not to become activists necessarily. Some of us are. That's all good. This is not about that. But activating our hearts so that we can actually turn from inward to outward and embrace rather than come into conflict or judgment with all that is going on. This does not mean embracing a killer. You know that. What it means, though, is embracing the community of souls that we all are together. We are a collective together. We are responsible to each other. Somehow, how do we find that way to activate so that we do not have our men on this track where they don't know what they're doing or where they're going, where they don't see a future for themselves, where they're asked for everything and they don't know where to start. In so many ways, we have abandoned them. Not just women again, but all of us. There aren't that many avenues for a man, especially a young man, to find anything about himself except in the camaraderie of either a gang or a video game collective. The idea of family, of someone who can see you, really see you, not just put up with you. We need, my friends, to open our eyes, open our hearts, find ways to listen, find ways to inspire and talk when all a kid wants to do is play a video game and smoke weed. That is not his fault. It is ours, all of ours, collectively. What are we doing to our men? I don't have the answer to this question, except to say that we are not with them. We are in judgment often. So many of my beloved clients who are couples, the men are wrapped up in watching online pornography, addicted to it. They say so, but it's the only place I find comfort. It's the only place I feel appreciated and seen and known. And same for the 15-year-old on constant video gaming in a collective that he feels, sees, and understands him. Why can't they find that in the larger world, in their schools, in their higher education, which has become, in my thinking, not much more than a job training outfit? I don't mean to sound rash or cynical, but this is truth. Are we training our young people to think critically, openly? Are we inspiring them with our own behavior and our own lives to open to that which they don't understand, to find the adventure in an expanded reality of life that does not have to do with just getting high? Without having to take something to make me feel good or whole. We have parents that think it's absolutely fine to smoke weed when you're 15, 13, 18. The directionlessness that our men feel is pathetic. We women have a whole other set of problems. I'll do another one about women. But this is leading to the destruction of our democracy, our beloved experiment that is America. The non-think, the devotion to non-think, and numbing out our feelings is what we model for our boys. And we wonder, why would an 18-year-old wait for his birthday and a day later buy an AR-15 type of assault weapon, shoot his grandmother, and then go on a rampage in a school? Why do we say why? Ask yourself. Ask your own self why. What are we doing to our men? What are we not seeing in their cries for help or to be seen and known? What are we missing because we're all curled up in our silos and not looking out? How do we as parents open our hearts and empowering our hearts to guide our children well, to listen to them, to let them feel that they are seen and known, to respect them, to discipline them in a way that they actually understand why we have to do that, what they're missing, how they need to build their brains and their muscles. How do we as partners, excuse me, and spouses and daughters, how do we keep ourselves from shutting down so that our men feel abandoned by us? How do we come out of our silos, women? We have something big here to think about and open to. And spiritually, we are asked to follow the breadcrumb trail now that leads to a shift in consciousness, to an activation of our goodness, both in the world of our being, who we are, and also in the world that spawns off of that, of what we do. For we must find a way to love our men, all of us, every single one of us. And if you are a man who is thriving in this world, if somehow you have escaped or been inspired by beautiful parents or teachers or whatever, to where you feel the wholeness of your own masculinity, please share it with other men, please. You've walked a hard road to get where you are. It's time. Find a young man, inspire him. Show him that there is so much more to life than he knows or has yet experienced. Please. Thank you if you have heard this and stayed thus far. My love and appreciation is so deeply indebted to you. Hello, thank you. Be at peace.